full guard. Arguably, this is one of the worst positions for me to be in. And I want to talk to you about a couple of things or misconceptions that I see people work with. As a general, if Adele can get her hips raised a little bit up off the ground, she's got more pull on me, she's got more attack on me. So what most people do is they try and push the hips down. By default, pushing the hips down, my shoulders and my head come forward, which makes it easier for her now to drag her knees forward and break me down. Does that make sense? So I don't want her hips up. So technically I go, hips down, and she just goes, I'll bring my knees forward and I'll get broken down. Next part about it is it's really hard for me to get a purchase on anything because I'm not allowed to grab the clothing, whatever like that. Grip fighting kind of becomes almost an odd void because it puts her in a position where she can work the hands to the triangle and I'm apart and things better than what I can escape it. So the concept I have behind this is, all I do is I want to find the rib cage and I'm going to make sure my hands are this way, which means that my elbows come together. Anytime that my palms are down, my elbows separate. So I get in. The next part is I take my elbows to my hips on the inside of the knees and I tap my bottom down. So if Adele tries to break me down and pull me forward, I've got this really strong frame system. Most times they're going to yank from my head and pull me down. For me, I'll get the door. It doesn't, like if I get broken down in here, I'm still going to do what I'm going to do from here. So it doesn't bother me. If you find that you're uncomfortable, like they're trying to wrap a guillotine or something, I always try and work on the inside of the armpit, not the elbow. So, if, so she sits up and I'm like here. Okay. So I always try and work on the inside of the armpit. If I work on the elbow, she's got time to play and move around it. So on the armpit, it's harder for her and I get better purchase. It also means my elbows technically are on the inside. When I'm on the elbow, technically my arm's on the outside. So what we're going to do from here is this. We're going to start off inside the full guard, close guard. My opponent's going to try and keep the hips high. My job is this, I try and push the hips down without her breaking me down. Understand what I've just said about my hand position, my elbow position. So she'll probably win this one because she's pretty good. Okay. So her hips high, so my job is to go try, and she's just going to kind of pull her knees forward, and you're going to find that this is a kind of one of those ones where I'm kind of totally off balance. So this suits her better than it suits me. What we're going to do is going to go from my position, add in bits and pieces to make it better for me and worse for her. Okay, so close guard, raising the hips. My job, try and keep the hips down. She just drops the hips down, pulls the knees forward, breaks me down, reset, base of the hips. I go and get a little bit of an ab workout, I'm going to get a little bit of a knee workout. Everyone gets a workout. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So this was one of the things that when I started to play this, I work on a couple of concepts. Number one is I want my thumbs facing forward, which brings my elbows in. Anytime my thumbs are facing each other, my elbows are out by default. Number two, I want to find the rib cage. So I've got something I can kind of dig my palms under. The two concepts is my elbows go to my hips and my bottom goes to my ankles. Right, so my elbows go to my hips, my bottom goes to my ankle. Now, what I'm going to do is I let my partner try and break me down for me. The concept is I'm already pretty low, so it's harder for her to break me down. What I see people do now is they want to get the leg out, so they go, I'll get my leg out and they come up, which means that I've just undone all my hard work. So what I try and do from here is I put all my weight onto my left elbow and my left heel, not my knee. Put my weight onto my left elbow. That allows my right knee to become light, get me starting to move. Whatever you guys do from here is you're keeping the frame on the inside. So like that, I start to come here, you're putting yourself one arm in, one arm out. There's a lot she can do to me and not a lot I can do to her. So it's thumbs forwards, elbows to my hips, bottom to my ankles. Rock out to my left, slide, put my knee in. Now all I'm going to do is this, I'm pushing and I'm sliding backwards. The more I push my elbows down, the better. Instantly pop it, keep it tight. Don't give it distance, which you can play Della Heave and things like that. Keep that pretty nice and tight. If you don't know what Della Heave is, I didn't know either until about 5 years ago. So puts us in the same path. Thumbs on the hips, elbows to my hips, bottom down nice flat. I have slightly flexible hips, so I can get my knees spread quite wide. If you can't do this, it's okay. Right out to my left side, slide it backwards, Then he comes in. Now this part says, I'm sliding backwards, I'm putting pressure down, and I'll pop it, but keep it tight. Is everyone okay with that? Change partners, someone your own size, 1, 2, 3. And it's really hard to do. It's really hard to explain, and it's really hard to do. And this took me ages to get the hang of. It was, I was in Melbourne as the purple belt, and I was riding at the Hangar 4 with a guy called Dave Hart, who arguably had one of the best guards in the game. And every time I went to posture in his game, I just kept breaking me down and breaking me down and breaking. It couldn't catch me, it wasn't that good. But it was one of the most, annoying wrestling. It was pretty much 5 minutes of me. And I think that he didn't put me away because he enjoyed watching me get so frustrated. It was honestly the most annoying. And that Dan and I got a really good relationship. I think I broke his arm once, and he's beaten me once. But I said to him, man, how are you constantly breaking me down? And he goes, it's your big head. I mean, yeah, but how are you breaking me down? He goes, it's your big head. So let me explain. Now let me go sideways. This is the most common thing. The heaviest part of your body is not your bottom, it's your head. What happens here is everyone goes, I'll push down so they go, and what happens to your head by default? So what I'm trying to explain to you is we're not pushing down, we're sliding backwards. So when everyone goes, I'll put my elbows on the inside, where's the head go? Does that kind of make sense? So what I'm doing instead is I get control, so my hands on the ribs and my frame. When I'm sitting down, I'm pushing backwards. Can you see, like I'm not crunching here with my head over my shoulders. I try and put a frame. So if a gal pulls the legs forward like that, there's no way. Secondly, he says, what I do now is I rock out to the side. This makes my right leg light so I can slide my right leg backwards, which means I still have my frame and my head doesn't move. What I'm seeing is everyone's kind of going, elbows, ha-ha, the head's forward. So I want this. Secondly, I rock out to the side just a little bit. Slide 1, slide 2. My head never comes over my shoulders. Put a little bit of pressure on the elbows, and we're ready to go. So what we're going to do is this. I want to try and initiate the guard pass. My partner's going to be Dave Hart, the most annoying person to pass the guard. Maybe next to a gal, she's annoying as well. Concept is my elbows go to my hips, which by default will make my bottom go to my ankles. My elbows go to my hips, which by default will make my ankles go to my, make my heel, bottom go to my heels. She pulls forward, slide off, she pulls forward, slide back, she pulls forward, knee goes in, elbows, I'm happy. So we're going to get tested every step of the way. The concept on this, can I describe, is if we're here, anytime that my chest line is over, she's going to break me down. Anytime my chest line is behind, I'm safe. Does that make sense? So your frames, put a wedge in against your own hips here. So she pulls me forward, this takes the wedge. Does that make sense? It's not here. Secondly, it's this. I'm trying to get out of the guard. I'm sliding backwards, so I'm always sliding which way? Back. When I pop backwards. Okay, let's try it again. 1, 2, 3. As you're trying to pass the guard, person at the bottom, try and break him down. If you get broken down 3 times, you swap over. If you open their legs, swap over. I'm going to initiate the guard pass. I work two very specific guard passes off the no-gi on low level. One of them is my forte, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time. I'm going to go through to the 2 that I believe I'm good at. So I'll grab a Dal, please, and then I'll get a Dal to have a look at the last one and coach through the last one. What's going for me is I want to kind of get a wedge system between her body and my body so she can't break me down. which means anytime that my elbow's on the outside, I lose the wedge system. Anytime that my hands are wide, I lose my wedge system. So I'm trying to get this in so I'm on the inside wedge system for me. Anytime that my elbow's on the outside, it's weak because my elbows have moved away from my body. My frame system is compromised. So I always want to play on the inside. If I'm having trouble getting my elbows on the inside, like for whatever reason, the way that I like to do it is I like to come up high and put my hands in, and then I sit down and do exactly the same purpose. So if she's got like her legs and I'm like having trouble here, I come up high, I sit down, by default they come in. So she tries to bring me down again, system. Okay, nice and low. What I'm going to do is exactly the same thing. I rock out, slide this backwards, knee comes in, boom, doing 2 motions. Now, this is going to be the key, is I'm going to take my left knee out wide once I've got control of the head. I take my left knee out wide once I have control of the head, and I put my shoulder on back step through from here. Now, my shoulder is straight into a throat, my right hand comes to the opposite side. As a general rule, if you're going to try and recover, push my hands under, I'll push it out, I rehash, and come to the side. So this is no-gi, one of my favourite no-gi passes. I've got one I call a Superman pass, which we'll have a look at soon as well. So once again is elbows and frame. Let them try and break you down just to make sure that your structures are correct. 1, 2, pop, pop, and here. I turn my knee so that pins the hip down nice and tight, and I'm here. Back step, but keep this staple onto the leg for now. When I'm ready, replace my staple with my hand, and come through. So, wedge system, from here, lock out, 1, 2, elbows, here, the back of the head, and I'm actually pulling my partner towards me, which makes it so there's no space for her to recover the guard. I don't want to have my arm exposed, arm bar, triangle, guard rescue, kimura, banties, wrist lock, finger lock, yep. So I keep this tight. This means that when I turn my knee, if my partner's not flexible, I've got quite a good gait on her hips as well. I'm making sure that I'm low so she can't turn. Long step, back step, and she'll be putting shoulder pressure onto her throat. From here, once I land, I swing to the cover. I like to keep the distance this side. One of my favourite ways I like to upgrade from that now is I start to keep my partners over here. They go, if I want them here, they turn, and I upgrade. The whole time they can't turn towards me because they've got the shoulder pressure on their head. Who would like to see that one more time? So your frame system is king. Get your wedge system in. That's it, the most important thing. She can't break me down from here. So everything's nice and tight. Lock out. Here, here, down, pop. Pop it, nice and deep. Come over, clear your left knee. Back step through. Swing from here. Like I said, me, if I like to kind of go here, so they'll recover, which gives me my instant upgrade onto mount. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Superman pass. A Superman pass. And I only do a position that's kind of like Superman flying. I use this generally against bigger and stronger opponents if I can work their legs open. I have very high success with this pass. I do prefer doing this with a gi than no gi. But if I can get to the position to hit this pass, my success rate is better than average. Okay, I does on the back. So my guard passing is, I work pretty much, I pass off my knees on the guard passing, on no-gi for most of it. I know that that's kind of not really looked upon as, I'm closer to submissions and things, but I feel quite confident if I keep my elbows in and boxed in, it's hard for my partner to get the attacks. I also can put a lot more pressure on my partner if I'm tied to my pressure, if I'm tied to my partner. So once again, my elbows come in, so I get my wedge system in nice and tight. My bottom goes low, I rock out from here, switch your back nice and tight, come through, pop. I do 2 motions. I come forward and I bring my knee through. What I'm going to do is I cup the back of my partner's head and cup underneath. Now I'm going to flare my left knee to staple her leg down, and now I bring this up. So it's going to basically put her in a split position where she's going to go, I don't want to be here, and she'll kick out, which gives me the guard pass to either side or the mount. Adele's quite flexible that way. I tap a lot of people with this pass. I tap a lot of people with this pass. Like if you're not flexible through your hips, you're going to understand why you're going to want them to pass the guard. So the difference on this one, why would I choose this, is that I can get that. If I can get the unhook, I'm Superman passing. Here. Staple my knee. Here. And already it's kind of like quite nasty. So as I staple my left, I'm going to release the pressure. As I staple this down, most people like get off me and they try and keep their legs straight to release the pressure. And I get this flow over. Ken, can I grab you please? I don't want that. So, Ken's a normal, everyday, 35-year-old. What do you do? Grandpa. Why are you stretching? So what's going on the inside position? From here, I'm making sure my frame system, lock out to my left, switch backwards, come here, pop your tight, come through, under. So this is key. My left knee staples, by that my toes and hold. So right now it's not that bad. My right knee comes underneath and I split him up. So this is pretty much the deal that I have now, and I'm not doing any pressure, but it's horrible, yeah? So I would normally be here, and I'd kick that leg pin. The only way I can get out of this is try and kick that left leg straight to get out, which gives me pass. Like I said, for me, I generally do this on the bigger guys that don't have quite the flexibility, and the way I get underneath them, it doesn't feel like I'm in a good position, so I start to put the pressure on the pass. A lot of guys will actually just try and stop the pass and then they'll try and kick out to save their hips. So I'll get the free pass over to mount or the cycle chop. I'll always try and get to mount over the cycle chop, but at the end I'm happy to pass. So, just so you can feel it.
Just prove that he can tap something.
So,
I'm a 46-year-old.
once again, on the inside, so I'm trying to put my pressure backwards. I'm not trying to put my pressure down. My pressure goes backwards. Left side, right side, a little bit of pressure. Pop it from here, I'm under. So from here, it's just this. I'm trying not to cut here. I'm trying to get my elbow over the head, not my hands. This makes it so I'm tighter to my punch. This means that I'm stretched out long. It's a weak grip. So I try and come here. I staple, I come up. So that's pretty much the pass. So the reason I'm on this side here is that if he tries to kick out, I just go Superman and I get the pass. Yeah, so almost everyone I do this to will give it a pass. You know, I've had a couple people tap from it, but to me this is one of the passes that when I start to, everyone was that way, that grip, you've got to come that way. It keeps your weight on that side, and the driving point's stronger. Here, this is a weak mechanic because I'm at full extension. This is a lot stronger because I'm recruiting a stronger group of muscles than that. So if I can get that over and I've got the unhook on you, I'm pretty sweet to pass the guard. Okay, go slow on this one because it does apparently hurt the groin. This doesn't happen. So it's not something I deal with quite a lot, but there's a couple of people I've rolled that have quite flexible hips and knees and things. So I wanted a system that I don't have to change what I don't want to kind of go, you're flexible, I do this, you're not flexible, I do this, you're tall, I do this. I wanted to continue with the system. All this is about the pass. It's the pass. So I want you guys to just remember that my whole and sole focus is to pass the guard. It's not to make him tap. It's just to pass the guard. So everyone kind of gets that obsession, I want to hurt him and all that. And they put themselves in a position where they're missing the opportunity to pass the guard. Of course, they're focusing more on hurting their opponent. Catch up and back. Okay, so nice and easy on the inside again, guys. So elbows come on the inside, rock it out from here, crunch it from here and here. First things first is this, that is the key. And I'm low. I'm seeing some of you guys, you're here, flexible. I'll pass the guard. Yeah, like I've taken all your power out of your legs. Look, trying to go slow. Is that okay? Down here a little bit. Yeah, see? Number one, talk the head, take the power out of his bridge. Talk the head. We're not here. Talk the head. Number two, staple the leg. Come up. Here. Don't care. So I can sit here, but I'm not going to get back down past. How do you feel? It's hurting your hips. Can you say that a little bit louder? So I can actually, but I can tap you from here, Seth. I'm being nice. Okay. So the more I drop my hips and kick off my left leg, the more I drop my hips and kick off my left leg, the more I can drive through. How'd that feel? So I don't want to focus on her. I want to pass the guard. And that's, like, I've got such a good position to pass the guard from here. And for me, one of the things that I've found is that I get to here with some of the guys and they're like, well, I'm flexible, I'm okay. And I'm like, I'm okay with you being flexible. Staple, come up. You know, something like, you know, and I've had guys try and grab their foot and put their foot over my back and things like, yeah, you know, like this kind of thing. I'm like, okay, well, let's just see how flexible you are. I just pass it up. Like, it doesn't matter. But remember, we're passing the guard, that's the intention. Pass the guard. If I can cause a little bit of pain on the guard pass, I'll take it. But the goal is to pass the guard. Okay. This is what I do. This hurts my knee. It's not my major thing. So it goes inside my guard. This is called a knee slice or a knee carded guard pass. So once again, I've been talking through.
So that same system is opening up the closed guard. So I make sure I'm posting, I make sure I'm my hips, 1, 2, and I get my knee down the middle. The difference between this is rather than my knee tracking on the outside, it's going to track across the body. Come in if you guys can't hear me, because I'm not very loud. I'm not as loud as Adam is. So rather than my knee tracking on the outside, I'm going to track across the body. Yeah, so my knee is now going to come across, and I'm going to try and drive it down towards the mat. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm sitting in this space, and now I need something to post up, so my foot's going to track through. The job of this left leg is to drive my body towards my partner to center myself up. I don't want to let my body lag off to the side. Right now he's going to fill all the space. I want to drive and actually come into this space. And now, to not overcomplicate things, I'm going to look for any kind of upper body control, and I'm just going to let my left leg drive through. Now, we can finish this towards the upper body or the lower body. Today we'll finish the upper body. So I'm going to try and drive my hip bone into his armpit. And then I'm going to start to shift my base and go belly down. It's going to be a really good isolation of his arms so he can't frame on me. And now I can look for more traps. I can look for arm bars, heavy cutters, whatever it's going to be. So again, same system of opening up the closed guard. Same thing. Close. Make sure I balance the base. I see one leg back. When he comes down the middle, I pop it open. And I get to this position. Now, a lot of the time, especially if I'm framing, I put my knee from the outside, I'm going to come across, and I'm going to drive it through towards the mat. I'm not letting my body come up as I'm doing this, I'm still coming down. My left leg is going to come through, and I'm driving off my foot to lift myself up. Yeah? From here, I'm going to get some kind of control of my partner's body. Preferably my right hand has an underhook. I don't want Adam to have an underhook on me. This is bad. This is going to start to throw me off. If this does start to happen, I just have this schoolyard fight of I underhook and then he underhooks and then I underhook and then he underhooks until I can underhook and I can slam in so I can control. I slice through. Preferably I want my hip bone towards my partner's armpit. And now I can come barely down on this and get some arm isolation and a good top side control. Who needs to sit up one more time? One more. Close guard. I open it up. I come here, it blocks out the outer part, so I come through across the body, knee hits the mat. My body is low. My left leg is going to drift through and I drive off my foot. I'm going to come heavy here, I'm patting my head towards my partner's chin. I'm going to drive my foot past until my hip hits the armpit. And now I can swing my base belly down and look for some good arm isolation from this top side control. Let's give that a crack, guys. 1, 2, 3.